Hello, 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 hello. How are we this morning, gentlemen?
Very, very well, thanks, Brenton.
Well, Andy, mate, listen, it's great to have you. Great to catch up with you. It's been 2 weeks since we last caught up, mate. Listen, how have you been? What have you been up to?
Ah, it's been good. Been busy. Been travelling around a bit, delivering a bit of training here and there. Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. Yeah, lots
Oh,
good times.
fantastic, fantastic. Des, mate, how are you? Okay, Des, what have you been up to for the last 2 weeks? Wow.
He's chatty this morning, isn't he?
He's real chatty this morning. In fact, I think I like this Des more than I like the other Des. Wow. Well, Andy, listen, firstly, I don't know whether we need to apologize to everyone. So late last night, Des Link pulled out an ACC 45 and claimed to have a workplace injury, and so therefore is not turning up to the show this morning. So, Des, what do you have to say for the other Des? Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Great. And then we were also supposed to have a special guest on today. So I thought, well, there's the saving grace. At least there'll be three of us, with the third person being able to talk as well. But I woke up this morning to an email from them overnight saying that they've pulled out and they'd cancelled. I mean, to be fair, Andy, I did tell them to watch a couple of shows before they came on, so they knew what they were up for. And what do you know? They didn't show up. Um, so, listen, Andy, it's going to be you, me, and Des today. What do you think about that, Andy?
I mean, that it's like having the gang back together again, isn't it? I mean, yeah, there'll be lots of banter. I'm particularly looking forward to Des's disclaimer, which is often the highlight of the show.
Yep. No, exactly, exactly. Des, what are you looking forward to about the show today? Yeah, great, great. Andy, young Oliver, first week back at school. How is our young apprentice, and what's been the theme for this week?
Yeah, so yeah, he's been back at school this week, and it was the school cross country, and
Wow. Yep.
obviously, yeah, comes under education outside the classroom
I was
activity.
going to ask EOTC. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so he spent a good deal of time studying the EOTC guidelines,
Okay. Yes.
and
Does that cover cross
yeah,
country?
um, it does in terms of it's outside of the school. So this was actually not
Okay.
on the school grounds. This
Oh,
cross country was
wow.
across in a public area.
Wow.
So
So
you know,
not only was it education outside the classroom, it was off-site
it was off-site,
EOTC.
yeah. So it was.
Wow.
I
Wow.
think it moved across to that sort of level 3 where they have to do a quite a detailed risk assessment.
Mm,
It includes
mm.
things like aggressive members of the public,
Yes.
dogs, bee stings, all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
So
Nothing worse than a bit of dog poo on your shoe, right?
absolutely. So he did a thoroughly good job of that, and it was good to see it all being implemented, every little bit of it.
Wow, wow, and listen, I'm going to be pushing the boat out here. Was there a review process following the EOTC activity to reflect on the significance of the event and how well the risk management plan went?
I'm assuming so. We've got with it being Friday today, we've got the debrief at 3:30 today with me and Oliver will sit down and go through that prior to enjoying. It's a good way to start the weekend.
Oh, fantastic way to start the weekend, reflecting on successful EOTC trips. Something that you and I are very familiar with. Des, have you been involved with many EOTC trips in your time? Okay, great to know, Des. Now, a little part of the segment that I like, Andy, and I just want to kind of say a big thank you to my sponsor.
Oh, nice. Yes, nice. Yes,
Yes.
nice.
Yep. Oh, hang on. Sorry, just getting myself a bit excited. This is the part of the show that I called "What Happened on This Day in Safety."
Oh,
Now,
is this
listen,
sponsored by Dupli?
this is sponsored by Dupli.
Nice.
Software built by my brother because my mother told him to. Make sure you get over there so they can continue to sponsor me with cool merch. So this day in safety brought to you by Dupli, reduce complexity, increase clarity. You wouldn't believe it, Andy. Today is National Avocado Day. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? National Avocado Day. Are you a fan of avocados, Andy?
I am actually. I quite enjoy an avocado.
Nice. Des, what about you, mate? Do you like avocados? Go figure. Now you might be saying, what does this got to do with safety? Well, the hazard was inside the brunch all along. So July 31st, that is today, is National Avocado Day, which gives us one of the strangest but most real hand safety lessons. All right, avocado hand. It's a real thing. The Mayo Clinic notes that hand surgeons have seen an increased injuries from people cutting or pitting avocados. And safe prep comes down to basic controls, Andy. Basic controls. Use a cutting board. Keep the knife away from your palm and do not stab and twist the pit like you are diffusing a green grenade. Des, what do you think about that bit of advice from the Mayo Clinic? Thanks, Des. So there we go. What do you know? Today, what happened on this day in safety? Brought to you by Dupli. Okay, now Andy, I've got a wee concern here. I think the disclaimer is going to be a write-off unless you and I kind of take over here before we get started, because we are going to spin the wheel today, mate. We are spinning the wheel.
I would be very reluctant to spin the wheel without a disclaimer.
Yeah, so I think we're
going to. For me, that's reckless.
You and I are going to lead this disclaimer. So you're a teacher, right? Well, you were. Yeah. There's probably a real term for this. The way we're going to roll this disclaimer out is you and I are going to say it together, but the way we're going to make up a story as we go along. So I'm going to say the first sentence. You're going to say the second sentence. Then off the back of that, I'm going to say the third sentence. And off the back of that, you're going to say the fourth sentence. Now, this is what we've been rehearsing this whole time, Andy, leading up to this. For the last 15 minutes when we realised that Des put in an ACC 45 at the last minute, we've been practicing this, right? Now, I'm going to lay out a challenge. How many sentences do you think it's going to take for us to get through the disclaimer?
Oh, a dozen.
A dozen? That's 12.
Yeah.
Jeepers. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start, and then you're going to carry on with the theme that I leave you with, okay?
Yeah.
So here we go. Here's our disclaimer for today's show, starting with a long, long time ago in a place not that far away.
There was a wannabe lawyer called Des,
who often dressed like a monkey.
That's why he wasn't a proper lawyer.
But he did his best nonetheless.
To create amazing disclaimers.
To keep us safe from prosecutions.
To make it clear that this is not legal advice.
In fact, this is not any advice at all.
And if you do seek proper advice, go and find
somebody that knows what they're doing.
I think we nailed it, mate. I think we nailed it.
Done. Hey, high five.
High fives.
Hey, Des, what do you think about that? Nice. Okay, Andy. Now I've got a problem. I can't find the wheel. Hang on. Okay, let's find the wheel. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Are we ready to spin the wheel? Des, are you ready to spin the wheel? Andy, are you ready to spin the wheel? Here we go.
I absolutely am ready to spin the wheel. Let's spin this wheel.
Oh no. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Of all the topics, this is going to be a blast, Andy. Are
Oh,
learning teams changing work or just rebranding the same old meeting?
oh no.
Wow, wow. Here's hoping long-time antagonist of the show, Brett Sutton. He might be dialing in. But there we go. Topic for the day. Here's hoping we got an audience. I can see there's some chats popping up. So let's jump over that. Are learning teams changing work or just rebranding the same old meeting? Okay, so firstly, let's head over to young Des. Des, what do you think about that topic? Wow. Yes, I can only agree with Juliet Thornton. So chatty today, isn't he? Referring to Des and Mark Gummer, friend of the show, popping up saying special for sure. It is going to be a special show, that is for sure. So Andy, let's start. Well, I've tried
I
starting with
can't
Des.
believe this. I can't believe this one's come up.
This isn't this.
This
I
is a
think
this
Des.
is one of Des's favourite topics.
This
I
is,
feel
in
a
fact, I
little bit.
think this Des put this on the wheel, mate. I think he
I think he did.
actually
I think he
typed
did.
it in himself. It's so
Yeah, and I feel I feel a little bit bad talking about it when clearly Des is having one of his episodes and isn't particularly communicating that well.
Des, how do you feel about finally one of your topics popping up on the wheel? Oh, there we go. Okay, so Andy, over to you, mate. Are learning teams changing work or just rebranding the same old meeting? I mean, what are your genuine thoughts?
I think as a concept, I think it's really sound. I really do, and coming from an education background, I think learning is the key to life, really. Um, and what learning teams I think has probably achieved is it has probably encouraged people to slightly change their thinking and their approach to certain things, in terms of breaking down the hierarchy of like many management structures, where it's the boss knows best, so everyone should do what the boss says. The whole principle that's just behind learning teams is based around that idea is that the workers have got valuable knowledge as well,
Yeah,
and
but
by
do they?
creating well, learning teams
Do they?
philosophy says they do. They do.
Well, that's their philosophy, but I'm asking the hard question here, mate. Let's put aside the fluff. There's your opinion. I mean, do workers really have the answers? Okay, thanks, Des. Appreciate your input as always. Okay, Andy, but you've touched on something there, and I kind of I want to take your tact today because I think you and I are going to come to blows on this based on the way you've started the show. You've talked about learning teams being a philosophy. Define it for me, mate. Define it for me.
Well,
What is a learning team? You've called it a philosophy. Is it a philosophy or is it a thing or is it both? Can it
it's
be
really I
both?
think it's really a set. It's a set of principles and values, but it's primarily a learning team is effectively a group of people that have a structured that is it's a facilitated conversation that tries to address a certain issue. And the key in
How's
there
that?
is it's structured. It's a structured conversation.
But how is that any different to any kind of board meeting, company meeting?
It's
It's there's
facilitated. So
structure.
yeah, the
It's
structure. There is
facilitated by the
structure.
chair
There is
of that.
structure. Yeah, I think so. I wouldn't necessarily align it with board level. It tends to be more in an operational space.
Well,
This
toolbox.
is what
Why? How's it any different to a toolbox or
because it's
a pre-start? That's
because it's a
structured.
it's a it's it's
They
a
got they're
structured.
facilitated by maybe badly, but they're facilitated.
That's the point.
Des,
That
what do
no
you
no.
think, Des? Hang on, no, Andy, just back off for a minute, Des. I mean, what are your thoughts? Is a learning team just like any other meeting, mate? Andy's point is that they're structured, they're facilitated. My argument is that so are all other meetings. They're structured, and they're facilitated by somebody or led by somebody. I mean, what's your take on it, Des? Well, clearly Des agrees with me, Andy. So come on. where were you going with this? Sorry, I'll stop interrupting. Apologies.
So to a degree, you're right, but it's a structured facilitation rather than a structured meeting. Now, one of the things that I think one of the strengths that you have certainly got, and I think is one of my strengths, is the ability to
Oh, thank you.
facilitate. I think we're pretty good at facilitating things, but that hasn't just occurred by accident. That's because we've experienced and trained a lot of stuff in a lot of various environments, possibly our outdoor education background. So teaching in a classroom is one thing, holding a meeting in a meeting room is one thing, but when you're outdoors, you've got to develop a real tuned skill set to make sure that you can adapt to the needs and you can have a really good structured conversation. And because we've both offered unit standards in the past and assessments in the past, if then I've sorry, I've just been thrown by one of the comments there. It's cracking me up. What this allows you to do, the structure replaces the expertise of the facilitator.
Sorry, carry on.
So if you haven't got a particularly capable facilitator, again,
Yes, if you haven't got a particularly capable facilitator.
then you need a lot of structure, because the structure then mitigates the need for that dynamic capability. And that's what a learning team is. It's a very structured approach to addressing a problem or a challenge or an issue. And it follows a set technique. So you don't necessarily need to be an expert. You don't need a degree in education or be any of that sort of stuff to deliver a learning team, as long as you stick to the structure, because the hard work's been done already. So I think from that perspective, I think it's not a bad thing. Is it a new thing? It's not a new thing at all. But I think it's a useful thing. And it's met perhaps a need. And it's sort of tied in with all sorts of other philosophies a little bit, with like safety differently and with HOP. It links all those things together.
Yeah, interesting. We've got a couple of comments pop up. I'm going to jump through to them and we'll talk through these, Andy. In terms of Bridge jumping in and going, and I got to be honest, I think she's probably said the most sensible thing on the show all morning so far. It's like anything; the result is based on how you use it, and I guess in amongst all your waffle, is that what you're trying to get at? It's not necessarily the it's how you facilitate the process, right, to get that structured outcome. Is that kind of where you're going with it?
It sort of is, but that's an interesting comment, and that leads to something else it's directly linked to this, I guess. I think it's what our show was supposed to be about before our guest speaker bailed on us.
Oh, what was that, Andy? Sorry.
So it's like anything. The result is based on how you use it. So that gives you power. So whoever's using it gives you power to get the result that you want.
But you did, isn't that contradictory? You just said literally, like, not that I'm clock watching, but you literally said about 5 minutes ago that this was a structured approach to something. Now you're telling me it's how you use it. I mean, if it's structured, surely it's got to be used the same way every time.
Well, broadly speaking, but there's all sorts of dynamics around it. So, for example, the people that you invite to be part of the learning team might be the ones that you only invite the people that are going to give you the answer that you want.
Well, isn't that what we're aiming for, to get the answers that we want?
No, we want the truth, don't we?
Well, here we go. Let's just jump over to Juliet Thornton here. Again, some sensible stuff coming through. If they do them how they are meant to be used and utilize the workers, make it open, don't blame, within a safe space to have opinions. If it is run in a top-down manner and don't include the right people, then they are just rebranded meetings. Is that kind of what you were trying to say, Andy?
That's kind of what I was saying, but she's obviously much more succinct than me. But then again, she probably hasn't got 45 minutes to fill.
Well, she is helping us fill the 45 minutes because this is probably going to be one of the worst shows that we've ever had. And oh, what do you know? Um, will the real Desai link please stand up? Please stand up. Will the real Desai please stand up? Please stand up.
I think if he's well enough to do that, he's well enough to be on the show.
Oh, exactly, exactly. What I tell you what, the aged people of today just absolutely no stamina. Our generation, Andy, just are troopers, right? Are troopers. But getting back to learning teams, right? We've kind of started talking about it's a structured approach. I guess we've talked about having the right people in the room, and I kind of want to touch on that. I mean, I've run a few, I guess, arguably, if you wanted to put a name on it, a few learning teams in my time. Facilitated a few things over the course of my years, um, and and I guess the challenge that I come across, and this is where I want to just kind of hone in on getting the right people in the room. I find the workers actually often struggle to articulate themselves. They really struggle to talk through what happened. Sometimes they really struggle to articulate why what happened or how what happened, and then even more so when it comes to then trying to identify solutions to the issue, put controls in place to manage it. Again, it's almost like our colleague on the show, Des. And often they really struggle to identify anything we should be doing differently. Des, have you come across this before in your time? Yeah, that's what I thought. But Andy, I mean, how do you find the right people? I guess let's just kind of build on this a little bit because I'm going to I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to go somewhere with this, and we're going to wrap up with a final answer on this, but not quite yet. We've still got a few more minutes to kill. But in terms of getting the right people in the room, who are the right people, and how do you get them in the room and actually engaging? Well, go with
I
first
guess
question. Who
that's
are
the
the
real
right
crux
people?
of it. And that's where you've got to spend some time. So you would facilitate a learning team if there's been an issue, a problem, or a challenge, I would imagine. So then it would be the people that you've got that have got knowledge of any of the circumstances around that challenge, that problem. You would assemble those in the room, I would imagine, and then facilitating it effectively based around the problem. And I think all too often the problem is not that well understood. I think that's perhaps what you're alluding to there. Is the first bit of a learning team, apart from ensuring that it's a safe space to be, would be more around defining what the problem is that we're addressing. This is the challenge. What actually is the problem? And often I think what's happened over recent years is that whole mantra of don't come to me with problems, come to me with solutions. Well, that's quite damaging from a critical thinking point of view because people go straight to a solution without fundamentally understanding the problem. So the solution becomes a bit of a band-aid as opposed to actually addressing the real root cause or the real problem. And I
Yeah,
think
no,
it's quite difficult for people to do that.
yeah, no, and I want to come back to that in a minute. I just want to jump over to Bridge Marsh. Probably calling it a meeting sends the wrong message to people. People we are calling workers, and again, that's quite a broad and maybe not the right word or term. I know it's probably the legal term, but are usually really uncomfortable in that type of environment. And I think you've hit it on the head there too, right? You often see this. I know the ones that I've run, people turn up, especially operators or people on the floor, construction workers. They're coming for a learning team, or you call it a meeting, or whatever it's phrased as, and sometimes that's actually out of our hands. When you reach out to your operational leader to say, hey, we need to have a learning team, or we need to have a learning review, or whatever you want to frame it, and however we frame it, how that's then portrayed by the people leader to the workers then becomes an interesting thing, right? And often they walk into the room with their head down, slouched over, until the facilitator gets to do what the facilitator does and they understand why they're there. But I guess then you're already you're on the the back foot there, right? So I think Bridge is onto something here around the marketing of it and making sure that we get it right first. But interesting you say that too, Andy. I'm just going to kind of pick on. I'm part of an organisation, and it's quite interesting. I've been in meetings where I've raised a concern about something, and the response has been, "Well, what's the solution?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know the solution. I don't have the solution, but I don't think what we're doing is the right one either. And let's talk it through, right? Let's bash it out." But I think, and that's a worry in this day and age, we want to move quickly through things, right? We want the answer now. We want to move on, and I think that's kind of what you're saying. Interesting here, though. Oh, I tell you what, Bridge, thank you. You are carrying the show. Des, what do you think of Bridge's contribution? Yeah, nah, cool. Thanks. Bridge, we should have dialed you in. I use a form of learning teams to carry out an ICAM review, but I don't call it a learning team. I just gather people together to solve a problem. People usually change every time.
That's exactly what it is.
I tell you what, if we had a mic, we'd drop it. I don't want to drop this mic. It's really expensive, and we don't get paid for this, so I can't afford another one. But spot on, right? I mean, we're probably all doing it, just in another way, shape, or form. So it's pretty cool. But then again, I guess that's the risk, right? By calling it a learning team, are we actually just creating another form of meeting, and are we just creating another thing, and is that actually part of the problem?
It could be.
What else would you call it?
It ends up becoming safety clutter.
It does. Bridge acknowledged.
You're a legend, Bridge.
Because Andy and I sure aren't. I mean, the other person carrying the show is Des. Des, what are your thoughts on this? Anyway, Andy, listen, let's just jumping back. I want to really start to kind of hone in on the question, right? So we've bantered around, we've played around. Are learning teams changing work, or just we've really kind of moved around what learning teams are and how they work, and maybe how they got to where they are, and some pros and cons. But in your mind, are they actually changing work?
I think they probably are. I think I would approach them as a tool amongst many tools. I think when these sorts and we've talked a lot about these on the show, like different things that come in, and we did a whole show about whether it's a fad or not, didn't we? Is that the latest fad or something?
Yes.
I think a better way of looking at it is they're all tools that add to the mix, and you choose the right tool for the right job. And I think if you're buying into the whole human operational performance stuff, then I think a learning team is a method of starting to apply that.
Yeah, but that's not the question I'm asking, Andy. The question I'm asking is a learning team, or are learning teams changing work? And how do we know this? I guess would be my question. How do you know? If you say yes, I'm going to want to know how are you justifying your answer? If you say no, I want to know how you're justifying your answer as well.
Yes.
Well, how? How do you know this?
Because once I've seen it happen. So instead of talk about learning teams, why don't we talk about engagement? So that's really what it is. A learning team is really engaging people to come up with a solution.
It's not on the wheel.
No, it's what it is. The purpose of a learning team is to build engagement, get knowledge from the workers, share that knowledge, and come up with a joint solution. Because by doing that, it's not a solution's being imposed on people. The solution is being developed by the people involved, and therefore they're far more likely to be engaged in it, and therefore things will improve.
Okay, but what do you do?
The downside of it is if they go through this whole process and then nothing changes, then the reverses happen. You actually lose.
What if you go through this process and the people in the room don't have the solution? And they are the people that are involved. They are the workers. They are the thing. What do you do then? Do we just move on? There is no solution. Or do you revert back to a top-down meeting, and then we're back to square one?
No. I would suggest that's the cop out. The active thing to do. Well, it's too hard, so we haven't done it. Well, I think what you do then is you would make sure that you've addressed the problem correctly.
Well, they don't
because
know how to.
you know you've come up with it. You've the first thing you've got to do is define what the challenge or the problem is and start to understand it. Now, if you fully understand the problem, I reckon 90% of the time you can come up with a solution to it, even if it's just a partial solution. But those 10% maybe where you can't, then you just dig deeper with the problem and say, well, what is actually creating this problem? And then you would start to address some of them. And then you just keep digging deeper. I don't think that's I don't think saying that the workers can't come up with a solution. I think
But what
engaging
if
with
they
them is
don't?
part of the solution anyway.
So we go and we sit down, we sing Kumbaya, we get some KFC out, we talk about things, but we don't have any practical solutions, or we end up putting in more admin controls or more PPE controls. Because, like, no disrespect to the people on the floor, but often that's where their thinking's at. Oh, we need more training, we need more PPE, we need more signage. Like I've been in meetings, and I don't know. Well, I know you said I've facilitated a few times. Doesn't mean I'm a good facilitator, I guess, but maybe I'm not a good facilitator. There are some times where you literally cannot get anything tangible out of the people in the room, and so what do you do then? And don't tell me you've got tangible stuff out of every single learning team or whatever you call it.
You
Every
haven't.
single time. No.
So I think this is where the challenge is even though you follow a learning team process, which is the structured conversation, you still, even with that, it is still heavily influenced by the ability of the facilitator and the
So now you're
understanding.
saying I'm a bad facilitator.
Your words, not mine.
I mean, do you believe this? Do you absolutely believe what he's saying? Andy has now just said that I'm a bad facilitator. I mean, Des, your
Absolutely
thoughts?
not what I said at all.
Hey, Andy, can
You
you just
said that.
Des? Can you give Andy? I need you to give Des a minute. Des, what do you think about Andy's comments about my inability to facilitate? Yeah, that's what I thought. No, but Andy, like, I mean, maybe I've run more of these things than you have. I don't know, because I actually work for a living. Like, what if you physically can't get anything more than when? And I've been in a room where I got called into a meeting. We started off as a meeting by a worker. They engaged the union, they engaged managers, and they walked in there and they accused the organisation of doing nothing to look after their safety. So I was like, that's a pretty big accusation. Let's just kind of unpack this for a minute, right? Before we start. And there was no boardroom table. We're all stood around in the sort of canteen, right? We unpacked it and we talked about all the things that the organisation was doing. The manager stood there and said, I don't know how many times or how many ways I need to tell you not to rush, not to go fast. If you need to do it safely, stop, right? I turned around and I looked at the work and I said, so, we've just outlined and we've just kind of walked through and even the union guy was sitting there nodding with everything we were saying. So we weren't making stuff up. Turned around to the worker and I said, so what do we need? What more do we need to do then? Help me understand. What more do I? You know what he turned around and said to me?
No,
wet floor signs. He said, "Get me some wet floor signs." And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I don't know how I didn't laugh. And I said, "You want me to get you some wet floor signs, and then you will think we're doing everything we reasonably can to keep you safe." And he said, "Yes." You know what I did? Do you know what I did? I literally walked across the road and bought some wet floor signs. You know what he did? He never used them. So, my point in case, what do we do if the people we put in the room and we engage, and that wasn't, it started out as a meeting. What do we do if the people in the room, the workers involved, the people who are at the coalface, what do we do if they don't have any tangible answers?
Rather boldly, I would suggest that you have a learning team because that's your problem. So
But
you
effectively,
frame
I
the
had a
problem.
learning team because it turned out.
No. You had a problem. You had a learning team looking at a specific problem, but I
Which
don't
he
think
raised, the worker
he
raised.
raised.
Yep.
Yeah, but if you dig deeper with that, the problem isn't the lack of signage. The problem is the lack of understanding. So then you would say, well, is it okay for our workers to think that signage is the best control? I would say absolutely not. So that becomes the problem. So then how do you fix that? That's the real problem.
That then answers the question. No, right now, learning teams are probably not changing the way we're working because potentially our level of understanding around the hierarchy of controls and solutions isn't where it needs to be. So, do we need to fix that problem first? Because I would
Yeah,
imagine
and
if
you would
we're
fix that
honest
problem
with each other,
by you would fix that problem
by having a
by
learning
having a
team.
learning team. I mean, God's sake, man. I mean, I think me and you need to have a learning team after this.
I'll tell you what, Des, can you step in here at any time? Feel free to step in, Des. Let's go see what Bridget's got to say. She's been, oh no, Juliet's got some more comments as well. Thanks, ladies. You're really keeping this going. Is it that they don't know or have ideas, but often they are scared of looking stupid or getting in trouble for having an opinion? Or if it's an incident, they probably think they'll end up in HR. And listen, Juliet, I totally get that. In the example that I gave, it was the worker that actually called the meeting. It was the worker who was clearly not afraid of speaking up. And listen, I applauded him. I said, the fact that you brought this up, the fact that you got us all together, the fact that you high five. In fact, I mean, maybe it was the fact that I gave him a kiss and a cuddle. I don't know, but was definitely applauded. And so I think in the particular circumstance that I've just outlined, I don't think there was any. This is just ridiculous. No, I'm not even going to show that. I'm not even going to bring that comment up on the screen.
It's true. It's true.
No, I think you people are delusional. You can't sit here and tell me that in every single learning team you run, that the people you bring in the room are always going to have suitable and sufficient solutions. You can't tell me that's the case.
That's not what a learning team is about.
Well, then,
the learning team is the process to develop understanding and appreciation and potentially.
Okay, cool. And then we go out straight after that and kill ourselves because we haven't actually identified a solution to address the problem that we're supposed to be having this learning team to address. I mean, can you listen to yourself speak, mate?
No, you need to listen to yourself speak.
God. Mate, so you all sit around a room, you sing Kumbaya, you have a whole new level of understanding. You walk out and you kill yourself because you haven't put a control in place to manage a clearly identified risk. What are you going to do then? Have another sit down?
That's not all a learning team is a structured approach to problem solving.
But what if you can't solve the problem?
Well, then you solve another problem that helps solve that problem.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it actually changing work? Because that's the question we're asking, Andy. Stop dancing around on...
Absolutely, it's changing work. Absolutely, it is.
Yeah, it's getting less work done. No wonder New Zealand's got a productivity problem. We're all busy sitting around having meetings about meetings
the root cause is learning teams.
Exactly. Just figured it out. Let's jump back. Oh, here we go. We've got people jumping in. I think I might have struck a nerve. If people don't immediately have the answer or solution, you probably need to do more work to gather information. But that's my thing. This guy called the meeting. This guy had the issue. This guy had the information.
Oh, yeah, but let's just take a step back.
You might need some expert advice. No, hang on, Bridge. Stop promoting Andy's snake oil sales here.
The problem, like this example that you're talking about, I don't think it's a safety problem. Yeah, I think the problem is that it wasn't a safety problem because if it was, he would have used the signs. He didn't. It's an attention problem, or it's a lack of feeling loved problem. It's another. It's not a safety problem. It's another problem, and therefore the learning team. If you're going to do a learning team, if someone comes and say, "I'm not happy about this," then you've got to make a decision whether it's worth having a learning team around it or it's worth resolving in another way. And you said you gave him a kiss and a cuddle. That might have been all it needed. Effectively, you going and buying those signs is a kiss and a cuddle to him, because what you're saying is, we listen to you, we respect you, back you go. Now, if you decided that you needed to do a learning team around that sort of thing, why our workers disengaged and angry, I think you would come up with some pretty tangible outcomes from that. Juliet, that's what I was trying to say, but I didn't have the nerve to say it.
Oh, wow. Well, oh, there we go. Now we're getting
this is personal. Great. Everyone's piling in on Brenton. This is awesome. Come on, Des. Have a dig at Brenton as well. Come on, Des. I dare you.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Listen, I've got big shoulders. We can jump up. We've got some good comments going on here. And that's the whole point of this, right? Is to engage in conversation, apparently, because that's what we do, isn't it, Andy? Sit around and talk about things.
Absolutely.
If they don't understand,
Try and find solutions. In fact, you could
for
say that the
workers.
Circus of Safety is actually a learning team.
Oh, my God. And are we changing work? That's the question. Are we changing work?
Definitely are.
Des, how do you feel about that? That we've been branded a learning team and we're changing work? Thanks, Des. Insightful as always.
I think Des has had his haircut, hasn't he? He looks a bit different.
He looks actually really good. He looks quite sprightly.
Yeah.
Hey, Andy, who would have thought? I'll tell you what, when we rolled in late to the pre-show brief, we had two people pull out on us. Who would have thought we would have carried this conversation on? And listen, I think we're only just getting warmed up. And I will bring up the last comment from Rob. Dig deeper to find out what is trying to be achieved with the sign. Yep, amen to that, brother. Amen to that. Listen,
I think that really is. I think that's what we try to do, though, on the show. Is we try to. You're a prick.
Andy, I've got to go, mate. Hey, wrapping this up. Your final thoughts: are learning teams changing work or just rebranding the same old meeting?
I think they're changing work. I don't think they're changing every work, but I think in pockets they are changing work. Have you ever met Bridge? Have you ever met her?
I had brushed my teeth. Okay, I had brushed my teeth. Hey, listen, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna loop back around. I'm gonna say learning teams are changing work, and whether is it for the better or the worse, or are we actually getting solutions? That's the question that still remains unsolved for me. So I do think there's merit in them. I do think the approach or the philosophy is there. Are we getting the right results? Are we getting the results that we need? And I guess back to Andy and the point we've made along on all the topics that we talk about, Andy, is it appropriate all the time? And sometimes maybe it's not.
No,
and it's a tool, and it's knowing when to use that tool as just as much as how to use that tool. So there we go, Andy. That's a wrap for the show. Mate, who would have thought we could have got through that show? Of course we're going to get through it. I mean, Des was incredibly talkative. Great effort, Des. Big
I think
up
it was one of his better shows. I think it was one of his better shows.
It was by far one of his better shows. And he pushed through his sickness. It was fantastic. Pushed through his sickness.
Yeah. Took one for the team.
Hey, Andy, listen, it's not all about us. It is about the crazy people that decide to join us on this madness that we call the Circus of Safety. Hopefully you are getting something out. Hopefully, attacking me and knocking my confidence and insulting me in public, if nothing else, hopefully it really lifts your professionalism. And
it brightens my day.
Hopefully it gets you critically thinking about what you're actually doing, and maybe not critically thinking right now, but on the drive home tonight, when you think about how I've handled the rest of my day after being publicly abused. Anyway, nonetheless, it is about follower number 2659. Follower 2659. I think we're going to be 3,000 before the year's out, Andy. His name is Hiran Palmer. Now, we have headed over to the Asian continent, the country of India. So, Hiran Palmer dialing all the way in from India. Thank you, Hiran, for taking us to the Asian continent. I should go check up how many people we've got over in that part of the world. We do have a couple of people dialing in from India from time to time. He is a senior manager at Yuva Skill Foundation. So probably right up your alley, Andy, a trainer, educator at heart. And yes, Juliet, probably the best thing you've said all day. You do have to start somewhere. And that's how we started, for sure. So, Andy, what's coming up for you over the next couple of weeks, mate?
Yeah, a little bit busy, quite a bit of training on at the moment. Yep. A little bit of consulting. Heading off to a toolbox meeting this afternoon.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, do a bit of facilitation. Barbecues, a full barbecue going on there, so that'll be good.
Cool.
Yeah. Yourself?
Fantastic. Bit of travel. I'll be hitting the big smokes over the week. I'll be in Palmerston North and Eltham over the coming week. Back in Auckland for the following week and our next show, where hopefully Des will have made a full recovery and will be back on the show with us. But listen, Des, number 2, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you with us. Any final words? Yeah, that's what I thought. Again, massive thank you to everyone. Till the next time, take care, have fun. See you later.
See you guys.